Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Palm City Chucks. Um, Same old stuff here on the docket. Going to talk some college. Going to talk NFL. Let's start with last week's college games. We had a few ranked matchups. Let's start with the big one. We had Georgia and Bama go at it last week. What were your thoughts on that game, Chuck?
Freaking insane game. I think that is game of the year. Like I said that about the Northern Illinois Notre Dame game, but I think I'm going to classify that one as upset of the year because I think
Right.
this one overtook game of the year. I mean, Alabama up 28-0 just for Georgia to come back and take a lead only for Ryan Williams, who is an absolute baller. How is that kid
I know,
17
it's
years
insane.
old just schooling all these
I'm
boys?
so mad we have to wait like 2 more years to see the guy in the league.
That's
Like
that's what I'm
crazy.
saying. But probably for the best. I mean, respectfully, he's a baller. Probably has the skills to play in the NFL right now. He needs some time for the body to develop, though.
Oh,
because
definitely.
some of these defensive backs in the NFL would break him
Oh,
at the current
definitely.
moment in time. So probably for the best there. But I agree, talent-wise, he is ridiculous. I cannot wait for him to come out. I mean, 17 years old, balling as he is, like unbelievable. Carson Beck looked a little lost for a
Hmm.
while. To be honest, he did not look great. He also threw the game-ending interception in the end zone there at the end. It's just a lot of mistakes you can't be making.
No, not if you want to beat
I,
Bama. That's for sure.
exactly, and I think I was more impressed by Bama than unimpressed by Georgia. Because, I mean, Georgia still played an overall pretty good game. As I said, they had every chance to win as well if they could have just locked down on that last possession a little bit. But, whew, Bama looks good.
Yeah.
Bama looks good.
They.
Better than I thought in the first year without Saban. I must admit.
Oh
They
yeah.
are impressing me.
Yeah. I mean,
DeBoer,
most of
good
it's
for you.
probably still his guys, which might be why
Oh yeah.
they still are what they are. Like maybe we'll see that drop off a little more next year or even the following. But with the portal and everything going on now in college, it's crazy. And who's to say who's going to be Bama next year and who's not? But yeah, regardless, it was a great game. Bama actually had me clicked off this game. Like I did not watch the entirety of that game because I thought it was Steamroll City, and I just thought Georgia was done. And the comeback happened. I missed the early part of that, and then I clicked on and saw the craziness at the end. But yeah, what a great comeback by Georgia. But Bama, they put them in their place in the end. So good for them.
They they did, and I just want to say, Chris, clicking off the game.
I know.
I think we all know who the true sports fan here is, and it certainly ain't the guy I'm talking to.
Oh, what? That's ridiculous. There are a lot of games
Only a
on
little bit.
on a Saturday to watch
You're
a
not wrong.
shellacking going on. But yeah, I regret it for sure. You're definitely right. I missed out on some fun. But like I said, I did see the craziness at the end. So yeah, just missed the beginning of Georgia's comeback really. But
Does this result change your opinion of how the season plays out?
mm, it's a good question, but not really. I I mean, I have Bama going pretty far into the playoff, and I have Georgia winning the whole thing. Um, I still think they can definitely do that. Like you said, Beck didn't look great, and the amount of mistakes he made to still be right in it in a game against Bama, I mean, that's pretty telling of how talented that Georgia team is, that he can almost lay an egg. I mean, like you said, he did turn it on and made some good plays, but overall to make that many mistakes and then come up just short in a game against Bama, I I'm still gonna roll with them. I think they can still do it.
I mean, they're definitely still a team that could do it, but they're not as unbeatable, I think, as
Yeah. Well,
maybe I
what
thought
they
coming
had like
into the
a
year.
40 game streak or something of regular season games. Like, it's crazy.
Something like that. I have no idea, but I mean, that's 2 games now. I mean, that Kentucky game
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So
And then had the bye week to recover from it to then show struggle
do
against
this.
Bama. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
all for the craziness though. Bring it on.
I agree. I agree. Let's go to Louisville Notre Dame.
Disappointment.
You got this right.
I got it right,
this
but I'm
wrong.
still mad.
Yeah. Mad that you were right.
No, not mad that I was right. Well, yeah, I guess, because I didn't want Notre Dame to win. The only reason why I'm happy is because you didn't pick them, so it gave me a little bump there. But yeah, I would much rather us both pick Notre Dame to win and then they lose. That would work better for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, Louisville didn't really put up as much of a fight as I expected. Notre Dame kind of controlled that game, so I was very wrong. And
Yeah. You want to talk
Notre Dame
about
is
where we were
definitely-
wrong, buddy? Let's go to the next one. Oklahoma
yeah.
State, Kansas State. We were both way off on this one.
Yeah, I honestly, I think the biggest conclusion I got from that game, and we kind of talked about it a little bit during the week, was maybe BYU's actually kind of good.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Like,
Yeah, we did say that.
So-
Maybe that is it. I mean, they beat Baylor this week.
Yeah.
No, it was a game they probably weren't supposed to win, even though they're ranked. But yeah, now with that win and the Kansas State shellacking of Oklahoma State, it definitely is making BYU look pretty good.
I agree, because Oklahoma State's a good team. Like, they're a good team. So
Oh, yeah.
I certainly didn't expect the result that we got. I'll put it that way. It was a straight shellac.
Yeah, I was
of
shocked by
Oklahoma
that
State.
one.
So, ugh. Good for them, though. I mean, it's a way to bounce back.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep.
That's, because again, like we said before, like, gotta remember these are just young kids. It's very easy to let one loss in a game you probably shouldn't have lost, or at least at the time thought that you shouldn't have lost. Tougher young kids to bounce back. And
Yeah, that's true.
they certainly did that.
Yeah.
They certainly did.
They
that.
found their mojo.
Yep. And on to the last ranked game of last week. One I certainly watched every millisecond of.
No blinks
Illinois,
the
Penn
entire
State.
game. No blinks.
Yeah, nothing. Didn't move an inch. Just sat on my couch, dog in lap,
Yeah.
no movement.
There you go.
But, I mean, good game. Good game. I mean, Penn State defense played really well, holding Illinois to 7 points. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it seemed like a Big Ten
Drew
game.
Oh, it was a classic Big Ten game.
Yeah.
Drew Lar only had to throw for 135 yards. And one thing I want to show out there is a lot of the media, general people on Twitter, whatnot, kind of being like, oh, what did Drew Lar do? Did nothing. Well, he didn't have to. I mean, he did his job.
Right.
He played his role. It's not like he went 10 for 20 and threw for 135. He was threw for an efficient 135 because that's all that they needed. Because all that needed to happen was continue to feed Nick Singleton and Katron Allen and let them do their thing. Like, Nick Singleton was an absolute beast. He is an absolute beast. I love watching him. What's crazy is he's really good, but I don't think he's as good as people thought that he was going to be too. So I'm also kind of curious if there is that extra little monster inside that
Yeah,
still
got
might
the
come
chip.
out at some point this year. Exactly. So we'll see what happens there. But another good win against a ranked team in Illinois. Penn State looking good. I mean, got UCLA this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
They're sitting at 1-3.
Just got to keep
I'm
doing what you're
starting to-
doing, dude.
Yeah,
keep doing
I'm
what you're
starting
doing.
to. The Kool-Aid is starting to flow,
Yes.
admittedly. I mean, I'll be the first to admit the Kool-Aid is starting to flow. You're going to regret keeping them out of your playoff.
Yeah.
That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, even after your recap in last week's episode, like taking a closer look at that schedule and what they have to do to get in, I mean, it's definitely looking likely. But Penn State, known to choke every now and then, so
Yes.
we'll see if maybe they're
Not-
slurping that Kool-Aid a little too abruptly. Perhaps use a sippy
I mean,
straw.
The one person that can beat us is our head coach, Mr. James.
Yeah,
Franklin.
right. That's a
So-
problem.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
you're not wrong. That is absolutely a problem.
Yeah.
But he's going to be there. Penn State's never going to pay that buyout. So might as well roll with it,
Oh my gosh. What is it, like 6 more years? That's it?
I don't know if it's quite 6. I forget when he signed.
I think it was a 10-year
4 or
whenever he
5
did it,
now.
right?
Yeah, it might be 6.
don't
Honestly,
know.
it was forever. There was like $80 million, and the buyout was like the whole contract the first year. Second year it drops by like $5 million. So he's going to be halfway through his contract, owed like $40 million, and his buyout's still like 30, 35. So it's like, come on, guys, who signed off on that contract? What is our AD doing? I don't know. I got to stop there. Let's move on. Let's move on to the top 25 matchup for this week. There is only one, so
only
not
one.
as many marquee matchups as the past few weeks here. But we've got Missouri and Texas A&M. How do you see that one playing out?
I think it should be a good enough game. I mean, I would think both teams are pretty similar skill and talent-wise. Missouri, definitely the higher-ranked team. They did struggle mightily last week, though, to a team they shouldn't have. That was Vanderbilt, went into overtime craziness. So I picked A&M. I like that they're at home, and they haven't really been too tested. I think their one loss was Notre Dame, I want to say, which, I mean, they seem okay despite their major upset. So it was kind of tough reading into the matchups of this one, but I just really didn't like how close it was for Missouri going up against Vandy. So I decided to go with A&M, but I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I respect that, because I did go quite back and forth on this one due to Missouri's game last week, because that's not how that should have played out.
No.
Vanderbilt is not a good team. They are the doorstep of the SEC.
Yes,
so
they're the welcome mat.
Yeah, that's thank you. That's the turn of phrase I was looking for, and just wasn't coming to mind. But yeah, so I did end up siding with Missouri. I think they bounce back here, but I would not be surprised if you again are correct in a college game where I am wrong. So
Can
we'll
you
see
hear
how
that
it goes.
again?
Yeah, I bet you could. I bet you could. Well, we'll talk about your woes and NFL picks later. All right, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually getting there soon. That's upsetting.
Yeah, I know, right? I cannot wait to harp on it. But anyways, with that, that's college.
That's college.
Let's talk about what happened in the NFL last week. Actually, before we talk about what happened in the NFL, I just want to say, I honestly only noticed this when we started recording, probably about like 5 minutes ago at this point, but you trimmed the beard, dude.
Yeah, I did
doing?
trim the beard.
Oh, come on.
I needed to. I felt a little too close to homeless, but you know, I had to
Are you
freshen
calling
it up.
me homeless right now?
I'm not calling you homeless. I'm just saying I felt a little too close to homeless. I don't keep it like you do, Chuckster. I mean, look at that thing.
I know it's coming in nice.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, I just want to know. I was a little disappointed because we were talking last.
We
week
were
about
talking about it.
Growing it out over the winter, both of us, and then I just see you, and I'm just like, well, what the fuck is this? So
Wait, did we actually talk about that on episode? I didn't think we did.
not on the episode.
Okay.
This was before we recorded.
I thought
but
so. So I thought I was good from, slander in the comments, but maybe now I'm not. Now I'm going to get schlacked.
Yeah.
But
No, I needed to put that out there because you know what? I'm a little hurt on the inside.
it's all right. I was never gonna catch up to you anyway, buddy.
Fair. All right, let's kick off the NFL talk, baby. I'm excited for it. Thursday night game. Let's start with that. Cowboys Giants.
Ew.
I'm gonna let you lead here.
Ew.
NFC East matchup.
Gross. Was really hoping for a tie here. Didn't happen. Yeah, Cowboys, they're just definitely the better team right now, and I'm pretty sure we all knew that going into it, and it kind of played out that way. I think the Giants held it pretty close. What was that, like a 5-point game? But
Yeah, 2015.
yeah, that's what I
final score,
thought.
I believe.
But yeah, so kudos to the Giants keeping it tight, but yeah, they're just not there yet. It is division games, and in the NFC East, sometimes that gets wild. Like, I'm not guaranteeing the Eagles are going to win both Giant games, and I'm definitely not guaranteeing 2 wins against the Cowboys or the Commanders. But
I know. I mean, you keep playing like you are, then it's going to be a repeat of
Yeah.
the second game from last year. So
yeah, it would be. Yep.
I don't forget. If there's one thing you know about me, I do not forget, sir.
No, I know.
But the one thing I want to add to this is, honestly, I got to give Daniel Jones his flowers. He played a really good game. He played a really good game, and
Better than Trevor Lawrence.
very true, very true. But he played really well. But in the end, Cowboys took the game as expected. Don't think many surprises in the final result. Maybe a little bit of surprise in how close it was.
Yeah.
But as you said, divisional matchups always just they go crazy.
They do.
You never really know what to expect. You could have an 0-13 team against a 13-0 team, and the 0-13 team wins just because division matchups go crazy.
That's so true.
I'm glad it was close. It made for a fun game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where you had to watch. Yeah. So that was great. That was great. Let's move on to let's go to the Sunday night game. We'll hit the marquee games first and then recap a little bit about the rest. Bills-Ravens. This one played out exactly how you and I thought.
Yeah.
The Ravens were pissed, and they finally showed up. For the first time this year, I think we saw the real Ravens team. They absolutely dominated an extremely hot Bills team.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Derrick Henry, what a beast. I mean,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
This is what
The
I
one thing
expected with him joining that team. And he hasn't had a bad start to the season. I wouldn't say. I think his week 1 was pretty decent too. But this is what I expected. I expected them to just be able to bully teams with him. And everyone knows his mantra, what he does as the game goes on. Third quarter, fourth quarter, the 20th time he's touched the ball all game, that's the time when he's going to bust one. And that's just what he does. He beats up on your defense, and it's a matter of time. You just keep giving it to him, and good things are going to happen. And they finally happened for the Ravens.
Yeah, no, you're right. The one play I got to call out, I thought I might have been seizing or dreaming or something like that. But when Derrick Henry broke off I think it was 87 yards.
Dude, he looks
run,
way too fast for his size.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, okay, he got through the line, beat the secondary. One of those 185-pound
gazelles should be able to catch him.
Is going to catch him. Exactly. And then you just see Derrick Henry creating more and more space, and you're just like, oh, shit. He's actually going to go the distance. There is no way.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but his top speed on that run.
Yeah, it broke 21, right?
I don't think it quite matched Xavier Worthy's top speed on his deep route, but it was within 0.1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's right there.
And
it's 22 miles per hour in pads and stuff. It's crazy.
Worthy's 185. Derrick Henry's 247. What?
Dude,
How?
there are obviously the NFL and all of these major sports are filled to the gills with these freak athletes, but there are a few even still in the NFL that just stand out and are actual machines. Derrick Henry eats oil. That's his meal. The guy eats oil and drinks gasoline. That's what he does. The guy is literally Terminator out there.
I think I saw something. I could be totally wrong here, but on game days, I'm pretty sure he eats nothing before the game.
I saw something recently about his diet, and it sounds terrible. Not for me. It's no carbs, whatever, all the protein you can imagine. That's why you and I are
sitting here in our apartment.
Right. That's the only reason.
Podcast talking about sports.
That's the only reason.
He's out there on the field making millions.
Yeah.
So.
I had the offers, and I just said no. I said I simply cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's not because I'm 5'9.5", 155 or anything. So.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with it.
But yeah, nothing at all. But crazy, but honestly, exactly what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not surprised there. Bills got the first loss, probably a little bit of what they needed. They probably needed a little bit of humbling, to be honest. So,
I agree.
So good for them there, probably to collect and look forward to what they need to change before they got too comfortable.
Well, and that's so true, because, what did they have to learn from, through the first 3 weeks? How do you coach these guys? They're just shellacking teams. I agree. They needed this. This will be better for the Bills that this happened. No doubt.
Yeah, and before we move, there were a couple crazy plays in that game. Do you remember the throw Josh Allen made, like falling out of the sidelines. What the heck kind
No,
of throw
I
was
don't
that?
remember
That
that.
was crazy. I mean, I could be conflating weeks here, to be honest. I'll be so honest with you.
Yeah,
So
it's
much football
possible.
going on
We've
in my
watched
head.
so much football.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like this was last week. The throw he made falling to the sideline was just absolutely freaking nuts. So just wanted to call that out. If that was 2 weeks ago, still deserves the
Yeah,
shout.
right.
But
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on to the Monday night games. Yes, again,
Yes.
there were 2 games.
Thank you,
on Monday
NFL
night.
gods.
I know, right? Except one of them was like the redheaded stepchild, and then one of them was a pot of gold. So
Hey, we love redheads
I
on
know.
PCC.
okay,
You stop that. Darnold and Andy Dalton are watching.
I know, right? Jeez. But anyways, let's talk about Titans Dolphins. We'll talk about the shitter first.
Yeah, the shitter.
Titans look pretty good. At the same time, I think the Dolphins just also look like crap without
Yeah.
Tua.
Yeah, I would say it's more so the latter there. Dolphins are
Yeah.
just, they don't look like a football team right now.
No, which honestly has me reevaluating Tua a little bit. I kind of put him in, mid-tier
Yeah.
type quarterback status.
Seems
and I
like
figured
he's very important to that team.
Yeah, I agree. Like I kind of put him in mid-tier quarterback status, thinking Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, along with the running back tandem of A-Chain and Mostert, were kind of carrying him a little
Right.
bit. But he dropped out of that team. They still have all those guys. Well, I guess not Mostert right now. He's hurt, but still got A-Chain, who's a beast.
Yeah.
And still have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and they're doing absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Waddle is still without a touchdown. Tyreek had like 24 yards on 4 catches. So
Yeah.
Tua
I
might
mean,
be more important than I thought.
Coaches, I feel like they just be overthinking it. Like, you got to get it to your guys. It's that simple. Like, I don't care what injury bug is thrown your way. Like, you have to get it to your guys. And, like, a great example is my Eagles. Like, Barkley had, like, 10 touches in a game without Smitty or AJ. Like, if Smitty and
I was a
AJ
fan.
Brown aren't playing, how are you not giving... Which we'll get to that game. But that's my main point, being you got to get Tyreek Hill the ball, you got to get Waddle the ball, you got to get A-Chain the ball.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in at quarterback.
No, I agree. Like even if it's a bunch of freaking bubble screens,
Yeah,
just give
whatever.
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle a chance to make a
Yeah.
play, because clearly whatever you're doing is not
Yeah.
working.
And I think they
So-
I think they gave Hill like 2 handoffs or something, whether it was end arounds or whatever. But like, yeah, I like that idea. Let's do some more of that, because you can't throw it to him clearly.
Yeah.
You need the guy to win.
Clearly.
So
Yeah, and credit goes to Will Levis got hurt here.
yes,
I'll be honest. I'm not liking my Will Levis breakout prediction.
Oh, no.
So far, 'cause
Yeah.
he's still,
No.
he does not look like he's putting it together at
No.
all. I mean, he's the most commonly memed quarterback to this point, with those 2
Yeah.
turnovers like 2 and 3 weeks ago at this point. Just
he is being
I don't know
memed
what
constantly. It's so funny.
yeah.
Poor guy.
So,
though. He just needs more
no.
mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise cologne.
Yeah, right. They were running the frickin'
Yeah.
Hellman's ad with him in it during the game,
Yeah.
which I did appreciate, even after
you
his
have to.
injury.
They have to. But Mason Rudolph stepped in and did a good job. Played his part.
Yeah,
Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears did a great job in the backfield. So
yeah, I really like
I mean,
Spears.
yeah,
I
do
kind of
agree.
wish they
I'm
left
also-
that door open. Like, they knew they weren't keeping Henry. Why did they go and pay Pollard? Like, I really wish it was
I
the
think
Spears
because-
show.
I think it's because NFL teams are learning with running backs. If you want them to last more than 3 years,
Yeah, you got
you have
running
to have
back
a
by
duo.
committee.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, so many teams are doing it now.
Yeah.
So many teams. You got like Buccaneers, Rashad White, Bucky Irving. You got
Yeah.
Lions, Gibbs.
Jets are doing it
Montgomery,
now, even with an elite
Yep.
back like Hall.
Brees Hall, Braylon Allen. Yep. Well, to be honest, I mean, Brees Hall's played like kind of crap.
Dude,
so
Allen
far
looks
this year. He has
freaking
not been good.
awesome, too. So he
Yeah,
better watch out.
He does.
Like,
Yeah, no, Brees Hall has not played well.
no.
Not played well. So there's just so many running backs by committees out there, and that's for the running backs' health, and because the teams know at this point They have to if they want their running back to last more than 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So totally understand that. But, I mean, Pollard's played really well. He had a down – first, because, like, with Pollard, let's touch on him a little bit. When he was with the Cowboys and he was behind Ezekiel Elliott, he looked awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then he finally got his year to be the number one running back and had a complete down year.
Yeah.
It was not a good year for him, which I was pretty surprised by because I liked Pollard a lot. I really didn't like that he was on the Cowboys because I did really like his game.
Right. Felt the same way there.
but-
I was scared when it was going to become his job. But, yeah, like you said, he came back down to earth and it wasn't the same. So, to your point with having two good backs that are good at different things, I mean, it can be better for the players and the team itself.
No, 100%. But, yeah, anyways, good for the Titans. Good win for them. Happy to see them get is that their first win of the year, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.
So, good for them.
Pretty sure that's why I picked them, honestly. It's like, they got to get one. Come on.
Yeah. Dolphins are in trouble.
Yeah.
Dolphins are in trouble. So, they got to figure that out ASAP. Mike McDaniel, good coach. So, honestly, I've got faith in him to figure out a little bit of something where they look a little bit better, but it's got to happen soon.
Yeah.
Because they're in trouble.
Yeah, you can't dick around in the NFL. That's for sure.
Yep. So, next, let's talk about the pot of gold Monday night game.
Oh.
The Detroit Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm just going to come right out and say, I'm going to glaze Jared Goff so hard here for a little. Like, are you kidding me? Jared Goff. I mean, I have to. I've been hard on him so far in our past few podcasts.
Hard but fair. You've been fair.
You're right. Yeah, tough but fair.
Yes.
You're exactly correct. He didn't look great, and then this last game, historic night.
Yeah.
18 for 18, most completions ever in the history of the NFL without an incompletion, and also a receiving touchdown. Just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Caught a touchdown pass from Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, awesome. Lions put up 42 points. Like, the offense is starting to click. Like, I can see it. I think Ben Johnson is finding his rhythm again as the offensive coordinator. The team is starting to click, and I love it. Jared Goff, my God.
Put away a good
he
team,
just had
too.
an insane game. Yeah, and like I said last week on our podcast, I believe that the Seahawks were kind of the Lions' bogey team.
Right.
And I honestly didn't realize quite how much until I was watching the game, and on the broadcast they were like, oh yeah, the Seahawks have beaten the Lions the last 6 times that they played. Like, I thought it was 3, maybe 4. I did not realize it was 6.
Yeah.
So
This
I was
was a
even
long
more right
time
about
coming
them
on
being
this
a
one.
bogey team. Yeah, so it was about time. But yeah, 42 points, 18 of 18 passing, and I just want to say it's criminal that there's a minimum amount of completions needed to get a quarterback rating because Jared Goff didn't throw 20 times, it's not considered a perfect game.
Oh, right.
PPR
Yeah.
ratings, you know, like the 158.3.
Yep.
Like,
I saw that. I saw his passer rating, and I
threw.
literally thought that. I was like, how is this man not perfect?
That's what I'm saying.
But
like,
that's why, yeah.
Bro, the man still threw for like 300 yards. It's not his fault that it only took 18 throws.
Right.
Like, come on. There's got to be a little nuance to the rule. Like, I get the precedent because you don't want a guy going
5
2
for 5.
two
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand, but there's got to be some nuance in there because he played the whole game.
I was going to say,
300
maybe it should
yards.
be about snap count. Like,
That's fair.
Or what?
That's
Like, you
actually a
had
fair
to
point.
play beyond half the game or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't dislike that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's
NFL
better than what
consider
they're
that.
rocking with right now because he got robbed. That's a perfect game.
Oh, absolutely.
It's literally a
Another
perfect
funny thing
game.
is-
The man did not throw an incompletion.
Exactly. And you see Dan Campbell came out to his press conference afterwards, and he was like, he didn't realize quite how good of a game Jared Goff had. 'Cause he was like, oh, shit, I just gave the game ball to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did hear that. He gave it to, like, Williams, and who had, like, one catch. Or one big play, I
For
should
70
say.
Yeah, one catch for 70 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah. And then I think he
Uh,
gave it to maybe a secondary guy or something. But
Maybe Gibbs. He had a pretty
might have
good
been
game.
good.
2
Yeah, he had 2
touchdowns.
tutties. So did Montgomery, too, right?
I think Montgomery
He might have just
had
had one.
Yeah, I think it was just one.
Yeah. And then Goff with
anyways,
the receiving
Goff.
touchdown. So cool.
Insane. insane. But like I said, Jared Goff, please keep this up. I will shout your praise every week. I will no longer be tough
Ugh,
on
we
you if you
can't have
keep this
that.
up. Oh, we can
We
have
can't have that.
that.
We can't have a 10-minute golf slot every week.
Hey, I did pretty good there. I split it up. All
No,
right.
I know.
Leave me alone.
We're chilling. We're chilling.
All right, but anyways, we'll talk Seahawks a little bit too. I mean, honestly, I was kind of impressed. They were pretty resilient because I think that game looked like it might get out of hand.
Yeah, they were
And they
fighting.
made sure that it didn't. They made sure that it didn't. And to be completely honest with you, I think it was like I can't remember exactly what the score was at the time. I think it might have been 20-28, possibly when this happened, and the Seahawks decided to go for two. And there was the pass interference call. I will be the first to admit DK caught that anyways. Replay booth should have reviewed that and given him the 2-point conversion. So I'll be the first to admit that, even as a Lions fan.
Yeah, that was messed
Could have changed
up.
the course of the game because that then made it, because they didn't convert, and that made it an 8-point game, and then the Lions got the ball back and went and scored and made it a 2-possession game where you had to get a 2-point conversion on one and then also score again and kick the extra point. If they give him that credit, it's a 6-point game, and Lions are probably playing a little bit different than up by 8.
That's true.
So I will be the first to admit that Seahawks deserved a little bit better there from the refs. But credit to the Lions, they still just put pedal to the metal and put up 42 points.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I agree.
Yeah.
Refs got to get it together, man. They're affecting these games. Like you said, a smallest thing like that, where it might not seem like it could affect the game, it does. Because you just said it. I mean, the way the Lions run the ball on offense then totally changes from being up 8 to only up 6. But, yeah, they got to figure it out. I don't know what the plan is, but this just isn't working. Like, they're affecting these games. And you see all these, like, stats with, of course, like the Chiefs and Mahomes and all that too. Like how many interceptions have been called back, like due to a flag to give Mahomes and the Chiefs the ball back again, and all that. And it's like far and away more than any other team. And you just hate to see that. Like just play the game, play it the way it's meant to be played, and let's let the best team win, not help any team along the way. But
yeah. Yeah. Where do you want to go next? You know what? I just had quite a session on the Lions there. Let's jump to the Eagles Buccaneers because I cannot wait to talk about this one, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait.
This one was brutal, dude. We got our asses kicked. And like I was saying earlier, you got to get your guys the ball. Like Saquon only getting the ball that like 10 times or whatever it was is just ridiculous. You need to give him the ball. Mm-hmm. And we need somebody to step up. Like, you see these teams, and some teams in the league, credit to them, they're really deep, and the way they scout and find these unknown guys that just fit their scheme perfectly, it's a wonderful thing when you see it and it works. I don't think I've ever seen it as an Eagles fan. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, the last example's probably...
It's a culture problem.
Travis Fulgham or whatever. Like, a few years ago, he came in as a receiver and just went insane for, like, 5 weeks in a row. Like, other than that, I can't think of a time where you have a major injury and these things happen and a guy comes in, fills it, and you don't miss the guy that was hurt. Like, every time a major injury happens to the Eagles, I'm, like, begging for them to just miraculously heal so they can play again because we're just lost without them. And that makes me think coaching again, too, which, I mean... This guy's got to improve because I just keep roasting him every week at this point because he's just not putting us in the best situation to win, and that's his job. And he doesn't do it. He makes it harder. But yeah, bottom line is the Eagles got smacked that game. And
yeah. Are the Eagles even allowing Kellen Moore to call the offense he wants?
I wonder. I do.
Because
I think
he
does.
With the Cowboys is certainly not at all what we're seeing so far.
No, I agree.
The Eagles.
I still think Sirianni has a little too much power when it comes to play calling and decision making and all that. But he is the head coach, so he's going to make these decisions whether I like him or not. But as far as the play calling goes, I'm pretty sure that is Kellen Moore's. I mean, I'm sure there's influence from Sirianni in certain moments, and I'm sure he's playing a role in
The
affecting
important
it.
ones where they fuck up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, he's the fall guy, so he's going to be the fall guy. So it's on him. No. But yeah, I do wonder that. It's funny you bring that up because I've been thinking that too lately. But I do think Sirianni has some input there, and I don't think it's helping. But we'll see. I mean, if he keeps it up this much longer, we know Philly sports and we know how we are. Like, he's not going to be around. So hopefully he figures it out and everyone's happy, but he probably won't, and we'll have to say goodbye.
I think that's a one-sided hope, my friend.
Yeah, you want
I'm
him to
good with
stick
crash
around
and burn.
forever, huh?
No, I'm good. I'm good with crash and burn. That's fine. You can fire him, have to start over. It's I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. Figured you'd want us to keep him forever. Like, I want Jerry Jones to be the owner forever for the Cowboys.
No, I mean, I live in reality. I know how Philly operates. He's not going to be there forever. They have
No, there's
shit
just
every
too
year.
many
I mean,
problems going on. But I do think the Bucks looked good, and this is a week after they lost to the Broncos, a game where they totally should have won. I'm not surprised they won. I really don't like the way they won because it just wasn't a game. It was tough to watch for sure. But all
Baker
you can do
Mayfield
is the
is that dude.
Eagles have a bye week now this week, so I mean it's important, and it's the only bye you get, and it's coming early, so we gotta it as early as it is. I at first going into the year was very mad with it being this week, as most teams are when they get it week 5. But that being said, the Eagles are really banged up right now. We just don't seem on the same page. I mean, we have a defense that played the way they played against the Saints to then just turn around and play that way against the Bucks. Like, there's so much inconsistency going on. I'm really glad the bye week is now. I know later on as the year progresses when we're doing these videos, I'm going to bitch that I don't have a bye week and all that. But you'll be right there with me because you're on one too. But
Yes, Lions are also on a bye this week.
But yeah, it's a needed bye week, and it's sad that it is needed because it's only week 5, but it is needed.
Yeah. You said inconsistent. The thing about your defenses, they have been pretty consistently bad. The inconsistency was their one good game against the Saints. So let's just be straight on that.
That's true, but
yeah.
no, that is true, and that is fair because overall they have been bad.
Yeah.
But they have moments of being good. Like even in most of the weeks were bad, like you said. But within those weeks, the goal line defense has been great. Like we've been holding teams to a lot of field goals, which is huge and can win you games. So there is some good to take, but you're right. Overall, it's definitely been bad. We did have one good week against the Saints, but let's just get back to that, I guess. I don't know. But I'm glad they have the bye week. I'm glad as a fan I have the bye week so I don't have to go through that again. I have a week off. So that's good.
Yeah. I will say it's going to be actually, before I say this, I just comment on that game super quick. Only thing I feel like I need to add to that is Baker balled, and Baker continues to ball. He, in my opinion, has worked himself into the MVP conversation as well with his showings to this point. He has been awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is
awesome.
fair.
So, good for him. But yeah, both Lions and Eagles on a bye this week. It's going to be kind of cool. We can really focus in on some other teams maybe we don't get to watch quite as much.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to it.
Playing and completing time slots. So
yeah,
going to be straight up red zone watching.
Oh yeah,
every scoring
it's red
play
zone
of every
weekend,
game,
baby. I love
yeah,
red zone.
Exactly.
I used to hate when
It
the
is
Eagles
awesome.
weren't on at like 1:00, and
Yeah.
now I'm mad when they are because I want to watch the rest of the league. But yeah, I'm excited.
100%. Up next, it's only fair. We got to talk about the Vikings again. What is going
Hey,
on
credit.
in
Hey,
Minnesota, dude?
you were with them on this one.
I was.
You got them. I still refuse to pick them, even though I should. But yeah, I went
Oh yeah.
Packers there, and I mean, Love looked rusty for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of sloppy ball
Absolutely.
there, but they made it close, and it seemed like a pretty entertaining game. I only saw bits and pieces of it, but yeah, Vikings came out on top.
Oh, absolutely. And Sam Darnold, another great game from that
Yes,
guy.
he better not
He's
win
got to be.
MVP. I don't want to be a redhead.
I almost forgot when we made that bet,
Yeah.
but not completely. I would have remembered if it happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You'd be like, why is
now
it significant that Sam Darnold has won MVP? Oh yes,
Yeah.
I have to dye my hair.
Well, why is it significant? Because yeah. First off, like, I wonder what his betting line was to win MVP coming into the year.
Oh my
bro.
gosh.
Like, you probably could have thrown $5 on it and had tens of thousands come your way. To be honest,
Mhm.
the odds were probably insane. So
I want to do that every
Congrats
year.
to any
Just
bettors
throw
who did that.
$5 on like every quarterback.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna win.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh man, but yeah, Darnold just looking crazy. So Vikings 4-0, just unbelievable. I don't understand.
No,
But
it's tough to
see if
even
he can
put
keep it
into
up.
words. Like I don't know what to say
Yeah.
about it anymore.
They just look actually good. Actually good.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. Panic is definitely high in the Minnesota Vikings fan base because my one friend who's a Vikings fan out here was texting me during that game, and when the Packers started to make a little bit of a comeback, he just went frantic. Like, this is the end. It's all falling down.
Yes, it was a good
I can't
run.
watch anymore. Yeah, this is over. Come on, man. Have some faith in your team. What are we doing here?
So he's falling. He's under the same spell we kind of all are. And what the
Yeah.
heck's going on in Minnesota? But
Yeah. When does the other shoe drop, you know?
yeah,
So,
right.
okay, let's talk about just a few more here. Bengals, Panthers. Bengals got their first win of the season,
Yes.
but not convincingly.
No.
Not at all. Their defense might be trash. Like, it might just be trash.
It certainly looks that way. And with how their offense has gotten to such a slow start, I mean, I think this is why they're 1-3. I mean, if one side of the ball is not operating, you certainly need the other side too. And right now, neither side of the ball is working for them. And even with this win and the offense, I mean, they scored. They put up decent numbers, but even still, like, I think Chase had like 3 catches. Like, that is not what they want to do. This is a guy they literally want to throw the ball to 12 times a game, and he hauls in 9 of them. Like, that's just, and against a better team that's not the Panthers, like, these 3 catch games for him aren't going to cut it. But I mean, of course, he made one of them a crazy, ridiculous play and scored, but that was more on the abysmal friggin' tackling from the Panthers. But
As we've said before, Panthers pseudo NFL team,
yeah,
fringe
pseudo,
NFL
yeah.
team. Yeah, a lot of words you could throw in there. None of them equal actual competition for other NFL teams.
Right.
So,
Well put. Well put.
in my opinion, I think they are on track, probably for the first overall pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Patriots.
Before the
could
season,
be a
I was
little bit
saying
there.
Patriots, but after what we've seen so far, I'm definitely not saying them now.
No, I definitely expected a bit of a step forward for Bryce Young. I'm not saying he was going to be crazy, but that clearly didn't happen. He was garbage, and Panthers look way better with Andy Dalton at quarterback.
They do.
So I didn't expect the Panthers to be quite in this position.
No, I figured for 5-6 wins, which I mean maybe
Yeah.
they'll still get now that Dalton's quarterback, but I don't know.
I feel like the Panthers are going to hand the reins back over to Bryce Young at some point.
They should.
Mainly,
It's not
mainly-
like Dalton takes them up to the next level,
Exactly.
like you said.
yeah, that
They're just not. They're still not an NFL team. Like,
No,
get the young guy
exactly
some
my point.
reps.
Like, they're not going to go and make playoffs, even though they're playing much better with Andy Dalton. They're still not
No.
at that level. So once you give Bryce some time to sit on the bench, think about his life, like and a lot of other things, because he's got a lot to sort out.
Yeah.
Give him another chance, because based on where I think they'll finish, I think they need to see Bryce Young again before deciding what they're going to do with that early first-round pick.
Oh,
and I think that's really
a great point. That is a great point.
Yeah.
They can't go and draft another quarterback having only
Yeah.
played Bryce Young 16 total games or whatever, because he got hurt last year.
Exactly.
But,
so they've
yeah.
got to give him another chance to start this year, just so they know what direction they need to go with
Right.
their early first.
And regardless of
if
the
Bryce-
direction, too. Because
Yeah.
if they play him and they realize, hey, this guy's not it, at least you're still getting tape out on him, and maybe some team will
Yeah.
see some things that they like. And then you trade him for picks, and then you can go and draft one. But
Well, I mean,
to just sit him on the
I mean,
bench and then take one with their early pick in the upcoming draft, that I agree is just dumb.
yeah. So I definitely expect to see him back on the field at some point this year. I don't know exactly when. We'll see. Maybe halfway, maybe a little bit after, somewhere in there. I feel like you got to give him at least 6 games. You think?
Yeah.
Maybe at least 4.
I would
I'll say at least 4.
Yeah, I mean, I would try and get him back even sooner. Like, what more of the whatever lesson they wanted him to learn with him being on the bench? Don't you think he learned it by now? Like, it's probably, hey kid, you're not playing good. Like, slow your roll and
Well,
kind
the
of
thing
get
is-
into the flow of things. Like, almost hit a
Well, the
reset
thing is,
button.
you gotta. I don't think you can do it super soon, because even though I think you and I see the writing on the wall, as an organization that has to support the players that are going onto the field, they're playing competitive games the last 2 weeks with
Mhm.
Andy Dalton at quarterback. So I think you have to give Andy a semi-significant run of games here until it is known for a fact you are not
Yeah.
making
So
playoffs.
based on their record is basically what you
Yeah.
mean. Like if
Exactly.
they drop to
Exactly.
1-6 or whatever, is it
Yeah,
okay? Is it
100%.
time to Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. And you're right, because how do you pull a guy like you can't pull Dalton this week. The guy's 1-1 as
Yeah.
a starter or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I agree, you can't do that. All of these guys are competing for jobs. Obviously the best should play. But in the one circumstance where it isn't that way is probably quarterback when you have a really young one that needs to develop. And it's not like
mean,
there's a
and-
G
but I'll-
League for the NFL. Like this guy's not getting reps.
Yeah.
And that's a
To
problem.
that point, I can't remember if we've already hashed this out, and I'm sorry to the listeners if we have, but like you make a point there about like, oh, you got a young guy who needs to develop. What happened to benching young quarterbacks for their first year, regardless of how good you think they're going to be? That it's, I mean, we've seen with, I mean, C.J. Stroud probably being the exception. All of these young quarterbacks who they throw into starting their first year look like shit.
Oh yeah.
None of them look good. And then you actually look back, like 2010 to probably 2018, somewhere in there, and you're benching guys who you are pretty damn sure are going to be great. Heck, even Patrick Mahomes sat on the bench his first year.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a way more successful model, in my opinion,
It is.
than what we are seeing with just throwing these quarterbacks right into the fire. I mean, Patriots are doing it right, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So-
there you go. Shout out to the Pats because pretty much every other young quarterback's right into
Yeah.
the fire.
Yep.
And I feel like the Broncos wanted to do it that way really bad, but Knicks
Yeah.
just like looked the best clearly, so they were like, okay,
They
I
did, and
guess
also-
we might as well.
I feel like Stidham's attitude might have also played
Yeah,
a bit of
yeah.
a part in that decision, because I mean, once Bo Nix was named the starter, like we saw that interview, it was like, oh, I'm really blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm a top 32 quarterback in this league.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Prove
give
it,
fans some
dude.
Praise.
Like,
Beat you.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, what are you
So,
telling us
I-
for?
I
Show
agree.
us, you idiot.
100%.
Like, come on.
100%. But anyways, great last week of football. Super exciting. A lot of great games. Let's look forward to the upcoming games this weekend. We got another iteration of NFL picks for Week 5.
Oh,
It is, as we've talked about Go ahead, sir.
before you go on, do you want to let the people know how bad you're smacking my ass?
Oh, trust me, that was coming.
Okay, good. Just
Did
didn't
you
want you
really
to
think I was
forget.
gonna let that pass? Yeah,
I'm
did
ready
you
for
really
my
think I was gonna
scheduled
let that
beating.
pass?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, bend over. Yeah, yeah. But anyways, as we kind of alluded to earlier, talking about the Lions and the Eagles, this is the first week with byes,
Mhm.
so we don't have quite as many games to go around.
Not enough
is
ground to make up
both a-
for me.
It's both win and loss here. We have less football, but you can focus on watching more of the games because there are less of them. So both win and loss. But before we get started, as Chris said, I would like to say just how I am gaining even more ground. I am now up by 6 picks. Last week we left with 8 differences. I ended up getting 5 of those correct, Chris 3, adding 2 more to my lead, taking it from 4 to 6. This is still manageable for Chris, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. This could turn on a dime. But I'm hoping I can keep this up, maybe drop 1 or 2 games here, but keep building my lead. And I need to put him in a corner. So once we hit like week 10, I can just start making safe picks and really secure the win here. But honestly, who am I kidding? I don't care how much I'm up. I'm going with what I think.
Yeah, I was gonna
There's no such thing as a
say,
safe pick with me.
yeah.
There's no such thing as a safe pick
Plus,
with me. Let's be honest. But
You're too competitive for that. Yeah, do you want to beat me? Sure, but you really want to freaking beat me.
Yeah.
And I,
Yep.
if you're
100%.
like up 20 or something by the end of the season,
Yeah.
that makes for a happier Chuck than a Chuck only up 5 picks or so.
I am probably the most competitive person I know. I don't know where I rank in the people that you know in terms
Yeah,
of
it's up there.
competitiveness, but
It's
I know
pretty
it's
high.
up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. But
I am
yeah,
too,
one
and
thing
this
I
is
also wanna
killing
say-
me that I'm down so much.
Yeah.
But we're doing
One
good.
thing
We're doing good
We
in the
are.
grand scheme of
Yeah,
things.
that's what I'm getting to here is because Chris and I have had some side convos. We were kind of depressed a little bit, thinking maybe we just kind of sucked at making
Right.
selections here. But then we went back and forth. Like, is it really just that crazy of a year in the NFL? And I did some deep dives, and both NFL Network and ESPN have their panel of experts, on their shows before the Sunday games. They make all the picks for the week as well. And I am personally ahead of all of the ESPN and NFL Network experts in their record
yes.
for picking games this year, even though I didn't think it was that great. And Chris is right smack dab in the middle. So in the grand scheme of things, I think we've decided it really just has been that crazy of a year, which is awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So for us to still be on par with those guys is really cool. And like me specifically right now, there's totally a chance I fall off a cliff. But to be leading them all,
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
think that's really cool.
And NFL Network, we're both leading them all. Like, they're
Yes,
really
yes.
freaking problematic.
NFL Network has
but-
had a rough year.
Yeah.
They've had a
But
rough year.
ESPN, yeah, there were a handful ahead of me, but none ahead of you, buddy. You're doing
I
great.
know.
So much for us being down in the dumps about it.
Yeah, that's what I like. Seriously, like for the audience, Chris and I were kind of getting a little depressed about it. Honestly, being like, do we even know ball? Like,
Yeah,
do we
I
know.
know.
What we're
Like, what
talking
are we
about
doing?
Here? Are we just? Yeah, but yeah, no, we did a little deep dive, and we're right on par with where we need to be. So let's get into it. Let's start with the Buccaneers and Falcons. I found this one pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
With Falcons being home, they've looked a little bit better. Kirk's coming around a little bit. But I had to side with Baker, dude. He's looked so good. So good. So I went Buccaneers here.
I am glad you did. I went Falcons, and I just really wanted this one to be different because I think this might be one of the better games this whole week. And for us to have it
I
on a
agree.
Thursday night is awesome. We're both going to be locked in. And, yeah, hopefully it goes Falcons' way. But like you said, it was a tough pick to make. But I just went with them. I feel like they've still yet to click. Like, even last week with their win against the Saints, they needed so much help from their defense. Like, they had 2 defensive touchdowns, like, just huge plays that, and the Saints still almost overcame it all. Just really banking on the Falcons just finally clicking this week. But yeah, that's why I went with them there.
That's fair. I love when we start off with the difference.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It really opens it up to be like, there is at least one game.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
We have a stake and a flip. So I love it. Let's move on to Jets Vikings. I've got a feeling. When I made this pick, I thought we would have different picks, but something you said earlier in the episode about the Vikings makes me think we're gonna have the same pick here.
Yeah.
I ended up going with the Jets. I ended up going with the Jets.
Me too. I did say that earlier, and I knew you were going to pick up on that. But yeah,
Yep.
I still have yet to pick the Vikings. Even after this week, I'm going with the Jets.
The reason I did personally was the Jets game last week. As we've talked
Yes,
about, vibes
that's why I did it too.
and situations of teams, they make it matters so much more, I think, than people really consider. Aaron Rodgers, if you saw him, I think it was freaking
he's
pissed
furious
that they missed that game-winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, he didn't have a great game either. They didn't score a touchdown. So, like, he didn't have a great
No,
game.
he didn't.
But
neither did the Broncos.
they didn't. I mean, 10-9 final score.
Yeah.
Like, not a great watch. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out firing. I think, and the Vikings are bound to lose at some point, right?
Right.
Like, at some point. And I just feel like this game is screaming out, maybe this is the first one.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers probably being like, that's not happening again. Let's go win it.
Right. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better, Chuck. That's exactly why I picked the Jets. Just destined to bounce back after a terrible week.
Yep. All right, up next we got Panthers and Bears. I went with your Bears here. I think they got this one.
Yeah, I did too. I was hoping maybe you'd go Panthers with Andy and everything, but yeah, I went Bears as well. They're just a better complete team, no doubt about it. Really, the only way I think they lose this is if Caleb Williams just goes full on rookie mode and makes some terrible mistakes. But if they just stick to their game plan and don't try and do anything beyond themselves, I don't see how they lose.
No, yeah, I went Bears here because I think the last 2 weeks, I think we've seen Caleb Williams start to adjust to the NFL a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think he continues to grow and he gets a bit of a easier defense to play against. So I see the Bears taking this one for that reason.
Right.
Up next, we got Ravens-Bengals. I've got the Ravens in this one. I think they continue the dominance that they displayed last week, and I think the Bengals continue to struggle.
Yeah, I have the same thing. If the Ravens were, and this is like kind of what you were saying with the situation matters so much, like with these teams and how they've done in their past weeks. Like if the Ravens were steaming hot, I'm going Bengals on this upset. But the Ravens are still bouncing back. Like they had a phenomenal win last week, but I don't think they're satisfied. I still think they're pretty pissed off at the start they had. So I still think they're going to be pretty hungry. We know the Bengals are going to be hungry, but they're going to stay hungry because I just don't think they have enough to overcome the Ravens, who are finally playing like the Ravens. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Next up, we got the Dolphins and the Patriots. And I did end up, I believe for the first time this year, I did pick the Patriots. I think that the Dolphins are just in such a bad state.
Dude, you're boring.
You made the
Switch
same
it.
pick.
Switch it to the Dolphins, dude.
Yeah, you picked the Pats, bro. Don't even come at me.
Yeah,
all right.
I picked the Pats too, and I agree. I'm pretty sure this is the first time. Sorry, Patriot fans. You guys definitely deserve to be picked sooner. You guys are playing above yourselves for sure. But yeah, Dolphins, just like we kind of said earlier with last week, they don't look like a football team right now. And I don't know if 7 days is enough to fix that. So,
especially with a really tough Patriots defense.
Yeah.
Like that contributed to my decision as well. Their defense is playing really well overall. So
definitely.
Bar the Jets game. We'll forget that.
Yeah, that was.
All right.
That wasn't. Yeah. And then the Jets to then. The football's weird.
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. So crazy. Up next, we got the Browns and the Commanders. Browns don't look great, so I went Commanders here because they actually look pretty dang all right. Your call out, I'll give you a shout out here. Your call of them taking a wild card spot doesn't seem so crazy right now.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I was
here.
very close to having them second in the NFC East behind the Eagles.
Okay, that would have just been blinders for the Cowboys, and you know it.
No,
so.
but honestly, like I knew this was coming. I do you mind? Um, but yeah, Dallas, all their guys that they got to spend money on or whatever, like the clock is ticking. Like they are running out of time. They're almost approaching a rebuild. Like if they don't figure this shit out. So next year, I for sure would have had the Commanders being the 2 seed. But yeah, going into this year, I couldn't quite pull the trigger, but I was definitely close to it. And for all I know, they're going to win the freaking division because they definitely look like the best NFC East team so far.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah. All that being said, I picked the Browns.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm for real. I picked the Browns. I think they are in that spot where like there are a lot of teams that are like 1-3. Like Jags are 0-4. Like just absolutely need a win. And I feel like the Browns could do it. Jaden Daniels has looked great, like almost Stroud-like in that he's not making mistakes that we see rookies make. I'm banking on him making a few this week, or my pick's just in the trash. But hey, weird things have happened every week. I'm banking
Like
on a
so
weird
many
one
others
here.
you've made this year.
Yeah. And I actually have the Commanders like circled to win the game with an X out over it. Like I literally went back and forth on this so many times in my head. Actually had them penciled in as winning and then still went back and switched it. But yeah, I'm just hoping for some NFL crazies here. Nothing too nuts to dive into.
Before we pick the next one, I just gotta say I'm so impressed with how you just brushed me off there, absolutely shitting on your picks this year. So I'm impressed.
Yeah, you're what? Hey, I'm trained to do it, man. Trained to do it.
Up next, we got Colts Jags. This one was tough because I don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Colts. And also, even if Anthony Richardson plays, is he actually healthy? And he hasn't played well so far this year, bar the first game against the Texans, which they lost anyways.
Right.
So I ended up going with the Colts just because the Jags look so bad. But it was tough.
Yeah, this was a tough one. And I kind of just alluded to it, saying how the Browns absolutely need to win. This is that exact game for the Jags. And with Richardson being questionable and everything going on there, and like you said, haven't been playing great, I think the Jags will win this one. They absolutely have to. Like, Dougie P, his ass is on fire right now. He's about to get the boot if they don't. So I definitely have them winning that one.
Fair. I can respect it. Jags are definitely in a must-win situation.
Yes.
Or their Dougie P is going to get fired, and they're going to have an interim coach for the rest of the
Yeah.
year. So maybe not after this week, but I think losing this game would confirm it'll happen at some point.
Right,
They're
exactly.
gonna lose some more.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it just needs to. He absolutely needs to win this game, and it's a winnable game. Like even with how bad the Jags have looked, like you said, the Colts haven't looked great themselves. So, Jags at home and a must win, and a must win. I'm gonna take them.
Up next, we got the Bills and the Texans, and this one I thought about for about 5 seconds, thought it was going to be really tough, and then I thought about last week's games, and I went Bills because I think they're bound to bounce back after what happened last week. I think they're pretty unhappy with that result, and I see Josh Allen really having quite a game here.
Yeah, I agree. I too think they will bounce back. Should be a great game. Really glad we have it in common because that would have been stressful.
Yeah, that one would have sucked.
Yeah, that one would have really sucked. But yeah, I think they just have to bounce back. I mean, they're 3-1, and overall, have looked like one of the best teams in the league. That being said, the way they lost last week, it was pretty bad, and it was to a really good team. But still, I feel like they definitely need to bounce back. And you know, the Texans are playing good, and their record is showing great, but they're just not as good as I thought they would be so far. I still think they can get there, but I thought this team was going to be like kind of how the Bills were the first 3 weeks, like literally just winning by 20 every week. But yeah, I agree. I just feel Bills bounce back.
Fair. Moving on to the next game. The game I found the most difficult to pick for the week. Raiders-Broncos. Division game, and I was just so torn. I was so torn on who to go with here, because Broncos did beat the Jets last week, but they also didn't look good.
Yeah.
So it was a two-sided coin there. Ravens beat the Browns, but they also are probably going to be without Devontae Adams. So I went Raiders here, but if Devontae Adams doesn't play, I'm not feeling great about that. Not feeling great.
Yeah, this is another one where I'm kind of happy we're on the same page, because I also went Raiders. This is one I would be really scared of if you went Broncos. I, too, struggled with this pick a lot. But, yeah, I just feel like the Raiders got to stay hungry. And, Broncos still, like, Knicks has done all right. And, I mean, the record's fine considering they're letting the rookie take the rock. But I just feel like it's bound to catch them along the way. Like, there's going to be a handful of games where it's like, we lost because he's a freaking rookie. And I feel like this could be one of those where the Raiders' defense just gets to him.
Yeah, I think exactly. That was the reason I ended up going with the Raiders. Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby is going to cause Bo Nix enough problems to where the Raiders will end up pulling this one out close. If I had to make a score prediction, I'd probably say 17-14.
Yeah.
Yes, would be my score prediction.
I could see a close one like that.
Yeah. So just a little extra tidbit for the audience out there.
Yeah.
If you're feeling an exact score bet, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, drop them in the comments, peeps. Let us know your score predictions. Get crazy. Let us know your team picks. We want to know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We start getting some comments with some picks for the week. We might just have to create a third account in our league, and I'll start entering audience picks. See how we fare against Chris.
That'd be
I think
cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be very cool.
We'll extrapolate and give you the average between Chris and I for the first 4 weeks. Make it fair. I'm keeping my lead, though. Yeah. Up next, we got the Cardinals and the 49ers. I ended up going 49ers here. I think the Cardinals have showed a little bit of vulnerability the past 2 weeks after looking pretty good the first two.
Yeah.
And the 49ers are the 49ers. They got George Kittle back now. I mean, they still don't have McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason has filled that role super well.
Yeah. It's a matter of time till Ayuk gets, like, coordinated, or that's not a word. Put him back into the offense, get him into the flow of things. I'll think of the word later when we're off screen and it won't matter. But yeah.
Okay, that was good. So 49ers for you?
49ers for me. Yeah, I would have liked the Cardinals odds a little better if they were home, but because the Niners aren't put together right now.
Goddamn home team.
I know, but I don't even pick like that really much anymore. But whenever I do pick the home team, I sprinkle that in there. So I only say it if I pick the home team, if you didn't notice. It doesn't matter if I'm picking the away team.
Yeah, of course. Trying to justify your shit.
Exactly, right.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Packers and the Rams.
This was tough. I
went Packers here. I think Jordan Love in his second game back will look better. Rams are just so banged up right now.
Yeah.
Even though Stafford and Kyron Williams are playing pretty great, no Kupp, no Puka. It's bound to bite you some games. And
yeah, it sucks.
I think this game will be one of them. I think the Packers come out on top.
Yeah, I agree. I think Love will look a lot better this week. And like you said, the Rams are just so banged up. They're still a competitive team, and they're getting to the point where they need to win these games because their record's getting more and more nasty. But yeah, I don't think they have enough to stop the Love train. So
I love that. Up next, Giants Seahawks. I went Seahawks here. Pretty self-explanatory. Giants, like I said, looked pretty good last week. I think a divisional matchup may have played a part in that a little bit. Seahawks defense got absolutely destroyed by the Lions last week, so I think they have a bit of a bounce-back game due to that.
Yep.
So just went Seahawks here for those reasons.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Hawks definitely going to look to bounce back, and they're the better team. And guess what, Chuck? They're at home. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Moving on. Cowboys Steelers. I actually did find this one quite difficult.
Yeah.
Primetime game. Steelers at home.
I knew you were going to say it because it makes sense, damn it.
Justin Fields playing really well. I mean, last week, like a little bit back to last week recap, he almost put that team on his shoulders and brought them back against the Colts. So Justin Fields playing pretty well, and as we've talked about it many times, the Steelers' defense is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They can wreck games.
I think I might be getting to the point where I'm willing to say the Steelers' defense might be the best in the league. So
Yeah. I think they have the biggest impact player in the league, which certainly helps.
TJ Watt is crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that TJ Watt doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year to this point is criminal.
Yeah, it really is.
Criminal.
I agree. He's insane. Absolutely insane.
With all that said, I did go with the Cowboys.
Yeah. I did too, and I wasn't happy doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I was really expecting that one to be different.
No, yeah, I don't know. Like, Fields has looked really good, but it's like some of these teams, like, I don't know what more they need to do to get me over a hump. Like, I feel like I'm just stubborn. Like, I'll come to a conclusion about a player or a team, and then they'll do nothing but prove the opposite, but I need it to happen for, like, 10 weeks to finally, like, flip it in my brain. That's how it feels, because, like, I still just feel like their defense is the only reason they're going to win any game, and the Cowboys' offense is just too juiced up. Like, they're probably going to score 3 touchdowns. Now, can the Steelers score 3 touchdowns on offense? That's where that's kind of how I decided.
The Cowboys' defense has looked horrible.
They have looked bad,
horrible.
and actually, they're banged up, too, now.
Yeah.
So,
is Micah Parsons even going to play?
Yeah, exactly. He's hurt, and Lawrence is hurt, too. And they already lost Bland, like, before the season, so, yeah. They're
Walking through this, I almost want to switch, but we got to stick with the gut.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
You want to switch. Man. I want to switch.
Yeah, exactly.
It pains me enough picking them. But, yeah, I don't know. If we both switch, does it matter?
All right, let's be clear. Chris and I going with the Cowboys, all right? We're sticking with the original pick here. Have to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Picks are submitted, baby.
No doubt.
If I see that shit switched, I'm going to override it with my commissioner abilities.
Oh, that's just dirty. That's no fun.
Yeah. And the last game of the week, we got the Saints and the Chiefs. Saints haven't looked that great the past 2 weeks. Think they came back down to earth a little bit. And Chiefs are the Chiefs. So I went Chiefs.
I didn't go Chiefs. I was sick of saying Chiefs because it's the Chiefs. So I said Saints because it's the Saints. No,
Well,
I'm picking the Saints because the Chiefs have been in so many close games that could go either way. And they're just banged up. Like, now with Rice being hurt, now they're without Rice and Pacheco. Like, Kelsey hasn't looked great. Now he's just going to get even more attention. I feel like the Saints are going to sneak up on him. I just have a weird feeling about it.
What you're forgetting is those Zebras also play for the Chiefs.
That is true.
So that factored into my decision here.
Well, yeah, and as it should. It happens every week. And we talked about it earlier even. Like, it's just brutal. But, yeah, I think the Saints, I mean, they can't play dirty like they did against the Eagles, that's for sure. The Zebras are going to be all over that shit. But, yeah, I just feel like they're going to sneak up on them. So that's cool. We got 4 differences.
4 or 5, I can't remember. But one of those 2.
I think it's 4.
We got Bucks, Falcons.
Jags, Colts, Commanders, Browns, and Chiefs, Saints.
Okay. Yeah, 4. You can count, I can't. Good for you.
Finally a win.
Yeah, I know, right? You need one of those. But anyways, with that, everybody, that brings us to the end of another episode of Palm City Chuck's
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
We are so happy for all of you that listen in. We appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Again, please like and subscribe. Follow us on the socials. We've got Instagram, Twitter. Coming soon, we're going to get some Instagram Reels and some TikToks out there. We're excited for those, the fun moments. And one more thing before we sign off here. Coming to you this weekend, Saturday, probably around noonish, early afternoon, we are going to have our first non-football episode, and we are going to talk playoff baseball, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Playoff baseball. So please tune in for that as well. We'll let you know when it's out. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you again this weekend.
Later, PCC.